Good morning, everyone. It is Friday, March 26th. This is Nadex Morning Analysis. My name is Todd Rich. I'm with Nadex. With me from Keep Trading Simple, Brian Caprice. And we are going to look at some hot spots in the markets today. But before we do that, I do need to share this disclaimer that trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for everyone, that any trading decisions you make are solely your responsibility and at your own risk, and that this is an educational session. Please do not construe anything Brian or I say as a buy or sell recommendation. We are doing this for your educational purposes. All right, with that, I think the story that we're going to kind of go through this morning for today, the story of the day is actually inflation, and we're going to talk about those numbers. But where that's been seeing some impact, one. This week, the dollar has been seeing some pretty significant strength, but based on some of these inflation numbers, we're seeing it pause. We're seeing the dollar strength pause a bit. We're actually in the pound. We're actually seeing a reversal, and that's really pound strength, but that's pound strength with the dollar also hitting the brakes. But then we're seeing that in the equities markets. And we're going to look ahead and take a look at the Dow again and what we might see today on a Friday going into the weekend. And then I think we also want to cover briefly oil, just because it's been so volatile. And the reason it's been volatile is people have been trading around the news about the Suez Canal. And it's just, when everyone's talking about it and all eyes are on it, you can push the price around a little bit. So it is a volatile spot. So Brian, do you want to kick us off here and we could talk about some of the numbers that have come in and what we might be looking at later this morning?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So, we've seen kind of mixed numbers today. We've seen trade balances go up, personal income go down, or, personal income go up month over month, personal spending go down a little bit, wholesale inventory. So it's been kind of a mixed morning, and you're right. We've seen dollar strength more or less for the rest of the week. As far as high impact news, the only high impact news we really have today is the European summit, which oddly enough, we have not seen really any headlines whatsoever. So this morning, I'd be kind of on the lookout to watch out for that one. Because again, they've had 2 days of an economic summit. We haven't seen much from it. And this morning, we've seen actually really, really great German business climate. Earlier in the week, it was kind of, hey, COVID is really bad here. And then the next day, it was like, no, we're good. And now we're seeing a great business climate over there. So we will hear something. There will be some headlines. And again, I think that will probably affect at least the euro dollar, as well as some of the other dollar pairs. And, again, dollar, because again, they are the other big trading partner out there. And as far as movement goes, there's not a ton besides any pound strength right now. And actually the pound numbers were disappointing. As far as the dollar, this is the dollar for the week. This is an hourly chart. Here's where we started the week off, right? We basically came back. We filled the gap. This is the dollar index. Grab the level right here, and literally has been nothing but off to the races. And you can see right now it's kind of stalling a little bit up at this 92.90. And again, remember, you're not trading the dollar index directly, but the way the dollar moves will also affect the indice markets. It'll affect gold. It'll affect oil. There's a lot of different things out there that this can really affect. And where we are right now, there's a lot of different ways that you can play the dollar, but remember, it is Friday. We are waiting for some big economic news. And I would say probably, we've seen oil bounce around. We saw the level we hit yesterday. Oil bounce off of that when it came higher and it's hitting a level. Obviously, the dollar today stalling will have a little effect here. We've seen it in gold. Gold has been super choppy. The reason the dollar is getting stronger is because they're saying there's going to be inflation. We're seeing inflation, but yet it's not in the gold market yet, which is another one of those things. This is purely a dollar rally, and the gold traders are like, "Wait, where's the inflation? We don't see it yet." So it's kind of one of those kind of strange things. And then leading over into the Dow, I think the Dow's something important to look at, because remember, the Dow is really, I would say that it's really the pulse of the people, right? For lack of a better word, it's kind of our consumer staples and the overall big companies. Yesterday morning, we talked about, we were sitting right here yesterday. I'll move the circle over so everybody can see it. We were sitting right here yesterday, and I mentioned this is a pullback. Hopefully that wasn't. We get a little bit better of an entry, but again, with Nadex, remember, sometimes it's about being close and taking that shot. And as you guys can see, we warned you that 32,000 was going to be a big psychological level. Came down, grabbed that level, literally rallied off of it crazy. Gave a bit of, and again, let me drop this back to a 30-minute. You can see, came up, based, popped, and again, Harry Potter trade, we talked about that as well. And now we're in an interesting situation where we have rallied back up, right?
Yep.
We're sitting at that level at 32,647 to 32,691. And you guys have seen, we've marked this one off. We've got you can see a bunch of these X's up here. And again, that's why I like that, this color, because it's very, very easy to see. But we're kind of at that same scenario right now where we're kind of hitting that same level. It is Friday. You guys have heard me use the terminology Feel Good Friday already. It had a big move and has been grinding and going a little bit higher. If we get any type of positive data today, then again, could this continue to push forward? I mean, I say that, yeah, it's definitely a possibility of what can happen today. Not only looking at it on a technical level, but then also looking at it kind of what's in the news. I mean, they're talking about how the dollar has been holding gains because of economic cheer. The euro has some problems. And the wave of optimism is coming from improving U.S. economic data, rollout of the coronavirus vaccine, rising treasury yields, U.S. jobless claims fell to a one-year low. Biden said he's going to double the vaccine rollout, which again, that is more, the pharmaceutical companies are actually producing more than what we're requesting, which is odd, but they're going to start sending it overseas. And then, talking about how, which is supportive. And then obviously the dollar rising against 6 major currencies because our recovery looks much better than anybody else's right now. So all these are positive things, positive feelings out in the market. I would say right now, the biggest thing to watch out for traders this morning is watch this revised University of Michigan consumer sentiment and consumer inflation expectations. You may say, why are those important? Well, a lot of the economic factors that we see out there are based off of data that's in the past, right? What was the spending month over month from a month ago? That helps kind of, but this is a survey and they go out there and they ask consumers, what are you feeling? Are you going to spend more money next month? And it's kind of almost like a leading indicator with all the positive. And again, if they see that confirmed here with a positive consumer sentiment, that's all the Dow needs to go higher. And again, combine it with Friday, it's kind of I'd say it's kind of the perfect storm with it. So,
yeah.
Again, where is it? Harker, although he's a non-voting member, he wants to hold steady until we go through this, which means we're going to keep interest rates low, which is also good for the indices.
Yeah, I did want to come over and take a look at the Dow quickly on the Nadex platform. These are our call spreads. So they expire at the end of the day. It's really kind of remarkable. We called it yesterday that 32,000, certainly an emotional number. There was a spike down, and there I'm going to go ahead and make this a little easier to see. There was this spike that touched it, took off. Now, oh wait, I do want to show this level up above that you've got on. I mean, you talk about how many times can it touch it before it finally breaks through. 1, 2, 3, 4. And it's come close several other times. Is this 32,660 level going to hold? Now, if you wanted to play this, I'm looking at just call spreads here. And if you click on the call spreads, they give you the different, the shaded range on where it is. If you're clicking buy, it's blue. If you click the red, it's sell. So you can tell exactly what what the range of the call spread is. But if you were looking for some upside, an upside shot on the Dow, looking that it's going to break through this level and go higher, a call spread could be an interesting way to play this with limited risk. Defined reward, something to certainly look at. If you wanted to play it from the short side, hey, I think it is gonna, there's ways to do that as well. You'll have to play around and you have to make a determination. But Brian, I'm in agreement with you. Is that everything is looking pretty positive. The dollar strength is hitting pause, and things are lining up for for that feel good Friday that you like to talk about. I certainly wouldn't mind having that going into the weekend. I could use the feel good before going into the.
VIX is down. Dow is up so far. Gold is down. Oil's up a little bit, but again, there's extenuating circumstances for that one. Silver's up slightly. So dollar index is like kind of flat right now. So it's starting to kind of roll over as well, which again should also be good. So there's a lot of technical factors out there. Like I said, the consumer sentiment is kind of one of the potholes that we need to watch out for, and the other one is going to be the EU Economic Summit. I don't think that they're going to come in with anything where it's like, oh my God, this is starting all over again. But you never know. When they talk about what it looks like long term and rates and that, it is going to have an effect. The euro is a big economic, the entire European Union is a big economic powerhouse. So
for sure.
You got to watch out for it. And again, those headlines could come at any time, and we have not seen them yet.
Real quickly before we wrap up, just because everyone's talking about it, do you want to bring up oil and just look? I know you mentioned it earlier, and we talked about it yesterday. It is a big deal that the Suez Canal is is blocked because it is a major shipping port. Oil isn't the only thing that goes through there. It is a major shipping thoroughfare. Tens of billions of dollars of product go through there every day, and they haven't been. It's grains. I mean, U.S. grain cargo ships are caught just stuck there. Ships are starting to reroute and go other routes. I mean, it does impact trade. That's going to impact prices, but mostly because everyone's talking about it, there's been there was a large emotional reaction, some people getting comfortable with it, another reaction again. But oil is volatile, so when we're talking about, there might be no rhyme or reason, but people are pushing the price. Traders are pushing the price of oil around, and it seems to be the Suez Canal seems to be the impetus for that, more so than, say, supply and demand.
Yeah, and I would say it's a very, like I said, we've seen a lot of movement from it. They were saying that it could be anywhere from, they're saying days to weeks to get it fully out of the way before we're back up to kind of the level when it's not there as far as the shipping going through the Suez Canal. But the important thing to remember is if you needed to reroute, like say if you have a grains product, okay, at some point they have to make the call where, listen, we're going to reroute. The reroute takes 10 days. So basically, there were ships that immediately started to reroute. As much of an emotional push as this is, and we've seen it kind of go higher because of the Suez Canal, once we hit the 10-day mark, that obstacle has now been removed because people are already diverting. And once it's removed, what's going to happen to supply? There's going to be a whole lot of it because you have all the ships reverting and all the people going through the floodgate very fast. So, and remember, it's, they're saying 10 days. Ships don't stop moving because it's Saturday. They're all electronic. They're going to continue moving on Saturday and Sunday. So even though this weekend we're not trading oil, those are 2 additional days where those ships are already in that rerouting.
Keep moving. Yep.
Yeah, so that's a +1 and a +2, right? So I would say it's one of those situations where I'd be kind of watching it. I think this will eventually kind of go back. And again, the EU summit, if they talk about recovery being slow, and I know people over there in Spain, they're like, the vaccine rollout has been horrible.
Terrible.
It's been super slow. I mean, we think our situation is bad. It's even worse in the European Union. Now, I'll tell you right now, pharmaceutical companies are producing more vaccines than we're using right now. We're going to start shipping overseas because it needs to get overseas. And it's that's just the reality of it. They have the ability to produce more, and we're not using it right now. So it's going to get better over there. If they start talking about picking up recovery, again, that will obviously affect oil as well, more so than the Suez Canal. But right now, if they have anything negative to say, again, I see oil being a short. And again, this weekend, finding some of these levels. I mean, we are in this bottom section. We are still technically long. It's traded technically. We've talked about that. 60, 70 is an area we need to watch out for, but it's not a fresh level. It's hit this area multiple times, and really, I think 61, 78 is what we're looking for. But today, I don't know if we're going to get much movement unless we get a big headline from the European Union.
And it would actually be, and I like to do this on a Friday as well, something to be looking at Sunday night when the market's open. Oil certainly will, in all likelihood, be a hot spot. So it's not just something specifically for today, but looking forward tomorrow. But tomorrow would actually be the weekend. So I would keep your eyes on Sunday.
Still a couple weeks to get it out. I'll tell you right now, if they get it out tomorrow, guess what's going to happen to oil? When it's like, yep, all that oil's coming through again. I mean, all the emotional response that just happened here will be turning and rolling back to the downside. So, you don't want to be the last person holding it, is kind of what I'm saying.
A game of hot potato.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, with that, listen, we covered a lot today. The dollar strength pausing, the EU summit going on, looking at some positivity in the Dow. We'll see how that plays out throughout the day. And oil, definitely a hot spot just because it's been talked about so much in the news. If people don't have anything else to talk about, it can cause prices to be volatile. If you got any questions for Nadex, please reach out to us, customer service at nadex.com. Same goes for Brian. He is very accessible. Reach out to him. You got any questions, you can email him, support@keeptradingsimple.com. He is accessible. With that, we want to give everyone a half hour to get ready for the open. So we got 30 minutes before that, and we will catch you again Monday morning.
Yep.
And for our short week. It's only going to be a 4-day week next week. Everything will be closed on Good Friday. With that, I want to wish everyone good luck in the markets. We will catch you on Monday. Thanks, everyone.